Hello my darlings, I hope you're all doing very well. In today's video I am doing a fresh versus healed of some of my tattoos. Obviously I cannot do all of my tattoos in one video, we'd be here for hours and hours and hours and hours, it just would not be doable, and some of my tattoos are pretty new anyway, so they haven't had much time to age or what have you. So the majority of these are around about anywhere from like 10 to 6 years old. Like I always say in a lot of my videos, you know, a tattoo that's 6 or 8 years old, 10 years old isn't, you know, a lifetime tattoo. We're looking at something that's still somewhat new if I should live to like 60, 70, 80, 90. Do you know what I'm saying? Like 10 years in comparison to 40, 50 years or what have you is nothing. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yes, these have healed so well, like oh my god, they're gonna look like this forever. No, I'm very much aware of, you know, tattoos aging, and you know, they're gonna end up looking worse and worse as years go on. That's just the way tattoos heal. The majority of these tattoos are not the best. The older my tattoos are, the worse they are, if that makes sense, like with the like the quality or who the artist was. But yeah, I've been meaning to do this video for a very long time, and then I started doing the Reddit page where I would look at, you know, fresh versus healed tattoos, and a few people were like, oh, you should do your own. So I'm here now finally doing it, and I've done it in like a presentation style. I re-downloaded, what is this, Keynote or something like that? I don't know. It's like the Mac version of PowerPoint or whatever. I haven't made like a presentation in many years, since I was in middle school probably, or something like that, maybe high school, I don't know, but that we're talking like 15 plus years at this point. So it's not the best quality, but it does the job. Okay, so here is the first slide. Are we excited? Do you like my script there and my color gradient? I did like yellow to purple, I don't know. Anyway, so this says some fresh versus healed of my tattoos. First one we have here is a heart tattoo that I got on my finger in 2012. Now I want to do a quick warning. Some of these photos are from the beginning of Instagram era, where filters were heavily used, like bad ones, and the quality isn't the best, but these are the only photos I have. I'll obviously say for each one what's been done to the photo, if I can remember, I don't know. But obviously we have a border or frame going on here and some sort of filter over the top of this, or it could have just been a vignette, I don't know. But this was when this tattoo was just done, like this was straight after. I got this tattoo in 2012, and yeah, it's just a simple line work heart tattoo. Nothing super complicated or in detail, you know, like there's not much else to say about this. I just wanted it because I thought it was cute, I don't know. So this is 10 years old. Obviously with hand and finger tattoos, they do age much quicker just because of how much you use your hands on a daily basis. We're not going to come for my nails right now and how terrible they look. I have a nail appointment tomorrow, okay? But yeah, this is healed 10 years. I have done a comparison, so it'll be a lot easier to compare the both of them. So what has happened is the line work has definitely thickened. It's blurred out a wee bit there. And it just doesn't look as defined. But luckily, because there is so much space in the middle there, it hasn't blurred out into just one big blob hot mess. There is enough room around the whole of the tattoo and inside of the tattoo for this to continue to age and still be quite legible, which is pretty much what you want with finger tattoos. You don't want to go too high detail. This one here, this one I got this year, and I think in 10 years time, this is probably going to be a hot mess, but I like it. Hopefully it'll still be readable. I don't know. But yeah, your fingers, hands go through the absolute most, you know, washing, sun damage, just constant wear and tear, you know? But I'm happy with the way this is aged. I haven't got any issue here whatsoever. The next one we have here is a bone and a bow. I got this in 2013. Again, this photo is fresh. I think I took this as soon as I got home. I don't remember. Again, as you can tell, this is a very early Instagram. If I had known that I would be making tattoo content back then, I would have taken proper photos instead of like Instagram aesthetic photos. But we can see what's going on. It's fine. But yeah, this is again is just an outline of a bone and a bow. I don't have any reason as to why I got these, to be honest with you. Just like for spooky reasons, pretty reasons. That's it basically. So this is what they look like now. And again, like the heart one, I feel like the bone may eventually start to struggle. It's already struggling down the bottom there because there isn't enough gap for the tattoo to breathe and age and grow. So I would say maybe in another 9 years time, this all might be black. It's already heading that way, you know? But the bow has actually survived, surprisingly. A lot better than the bone. You would think it was the other way around because there's a lot more going on here, but it could be to do with the skin. So the skin up here on the top bit of your fingers is a lot thinner than down below. You've got a lot more like fatty meat on there. So I don't know if that is something to take into account there. Like the difference is insane because there's so much negative space down at the bottom there. And now it's like, oh, goodbye. Definitely losing a lot of definition within the bone. It's going. But what I can do later on, say in another 9 years time, if it's still very much struggling, which it will be, I can easily have a cover up or a rework and just turn it into one big solid black work bone. You know, it's fixable, luckily. And with the bow, again, we have lost quite a bit of definition in there. You know, like there isn't as much negative space, but the line work doesn't look as though it's blown out too much. Like it seems the same kind of thickness, but it's lost the sharpness quite a bit. And yeah, the detail of it is, it's gone basically, but you can still make out what it is, which I'm happy about. Again, like the bone, I could easily, you know, go over this and make this solid black in a few years time should I want to. But the minute I'm happy with how this looks. Okay, the next one is my Twister tattoo. This represents my absolute love for the film Twister. It's a film from 1996. Let me know if you've seen this film. Okay, if you have, like I watch it yearly, like multiple times a year. I love it so much. And I also got it to kind of represent my love for extreme weather and storms. I am a bit of a storm nerd. I love watching documentaries about extreme weather and just like natural disasters. Now this was still healing. You can just see in this bit here, there's like still a bit of a scab. This area actually didn't heal that well. Actually, this tattoo as a whole took forever to heal. I think because it's in my inner arm, the skin is thinner there. I seem to struggle with that area a little bit. This definitely has some kind of filter on it as well. I want to say like the saturation has been popped up a little bit. I can just tell by my bed sheets here. I remember these bed sheets, okay? They were not this purple. So there's definitely some kind of Instagram filter on here, but we get the gist of it. You know, I'd just say it probably wasn't as saturated as it is here. I've definitely stopped editing my tattoo photos if it's of like a tattoo. So say I put on Instagram like a, I don't know, a bath shot or just some kind of random aesthetic photo, then I'm like, whatever, I don't care. I'll put my usual filter over it because I normally have an aesthetic situation going on my Instagram. At the minute, I try to make things look very autumnal, dark and gloomy, if that makes sense. If I was to upload a photo of a tattoo to be like, hey, this is what it looks like healed, I would either put my filter on and then on the next slide I'd be like, okay, no filter on this, just so everyone can see what it actually looks like, because that's just, yeah, transparency is strong with me now. But this, I wasn't even making content when I did this photo anyway. Oh boy. So this is now 9 years old, and obviously, yeah, the colour has completely faded. The saturation here is not good whatsoever. I think it honestly started struggling after about 2 years. I did start to notice. I was like, wow, this is really faded. But it's one of those tattoos where I could easily get a touch up if I wanted to. I honestly kind of like it. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of like it like this. Just looking at it, I'm like, it's honestly not that bad. But the cows, as you can see, so these were solid black minus the white sploots. patches, whatever cows have, I don't know. But this one really struggled. You can just about see there where the ink has completely fallen out, but it doesn't look too bad. I guess it gives it some kind of dimension or something, I don't know. But the tornado seemed to have healed pretty well. It's just one of those things that it does need a bit of a zhuzh, you know? Like if we do a comparison there, so we've definitely loss of saturation. Again, this photo has a filter on it, but yeah. Other than that, the only other thing that seems to have changed is maybe the line work seems to be the same. The line work hasn't expanded too much. Maybe on the script it's definitely a bit thicker, but like around the outside it doesn't seem to have changed too much. Other than that, it's not too bad. It just needs a zhuzh, you know? Okay, the next one. Now, this is probably one of the most atrocious ones I have, okay? This vampire was done in 2012. This is it fresh again. There is some photo editing here. I think the majority of it is just a vignette and then brightening up the middle bit there. This photo was taken after the second session because this was a 2-session tattoo. So I had, I think, most of the portrait done and some of the hair done, and then in the second session I think I had the majority of the hands done and some of the hair. You can just see here the hair is a little bit darker there. Yeah, like I was absolutely obsessed, and I still am obsessed with vampires. They're my favourite like fictional characters. If I could be anything that isn't human, I would definitely be a vampire. And when I got this, it was in my era of watching True Blood, which is still one of my absolute favourite TV shows. If you haven't seen it and you need something to watch, I highly recommend True Blood. It's amazing. So if we look at it now, I mean, you can already see here, look, the hands are struggling. Like, what is this finger, darling? Like, seriously, like all the other fingers ain't too bad, I guess. This one, though, looks like a penis. I'm going to roast my own tattoos. I do not care. Now, what it looks like now is... it's struggled. It's really struggled. Oh my gosh. So, what's happening here? Loss of definition. This is what happens when you don't have black outline. With peace and love, all right? Like, there is no black outline here, and it's... the hands are disappearing, basically. It's like, what's happening? Are we good? It's gone. I have actually the necklace here. You can just see it. This is a necklace from True Blood. It's the Lilith necklace. Again, if you've seen True Blood, you'll know what I'm on about. But this is just a random vampire. It's not a famous character or anything like that. I just told the artist, hey, I want a vampire. Make me a vampire. Get the fingers here. The hand here. Where are we going, honey? Like, it's gone. This needs a rework so badly. And I keep forgetting how bad it is until I look at it like this and I'm like, girl. But luckily we can still see that it's a face. Okay, like forget the hands, the face. The face is still there. I mean, the nose needs some more definition. The eyes seem to have... the eyes are okay, I guess. Like, it could be worse. The hair seems to have held up pretty well. The ear probably needs a bit more definition. And you can see these lines here up there. Can you see those lines? That is stretch mark scarring. You can see that I have, you know, I have stretch marks, all right? I'm human. Everyone, well, not everyone, but a majority of people get stretch marks, and it has done some damage on my tattoo there over the years. With a rework, that could probably disappear, to be honest with you, because they are definitely healed, you know, stretch marks, scars, or whatever you want to call them. So, oh no. No. Did I not make a comparison? Oh, you have to be joking me. I did not make a comparison one. I have failed miserably, but if we do back and forward. But yeah, it struggled so much. So this is 10 years old. It is a very light wash realism tattoo. And I still absolutely love realism tattoos. I really do. But this is what happens when you don't have definition. It just disappeared. Luckily, it would be fixable with a rework, right? It's definitely one of my worst ones. Even though, like, the quality isn't... You know, it's not like a terribly... Minus the hands. It's not the worst done tattoo ever, right? You know? I don't know. Anyway, okay, pumpkin. This one, I know it looks like there's a filter on this, but I know it isn't because this was taken in my dark bedroom with just a flash. That's it. It's just a flash, so it gives that sort of dynamic look. But I did no photo editing with this because I was shooketh at how vibrant this is. when I got it. I was like, damn, that's so bold and saturated. Over the years, that has fucked off. So I got this in 2013. I obviously got it because my love of Halloween. I don't know if you can tell that I love Halloween. But Halloween is my absolute favourite, and it always has been since I was a child. So we had this like pumpkin, witch's hat, cauldron mashup right there. This is what it looks like now. The saturation is absolutely just gone. Like, that orange said, see you later, I'm done, I'm out of here. It's 9 years old, so should it have struggled this much? I don't know. The only thing that I can think of is the placement. It's like right here, so like when you're kneeling and stuff, like there's rubbish going on there, like when you lean on tables, lean on a sofa, you know, there's 9 years of leaning going on here. So here's the comparison. We have lost some line work down here, that's just disappeared, and around here as well. Again, the colour orange just went see you later, but the yellow seems to have stayed pretty well. I mean, it's still there, it's not as bold and vibrant. Oh boy, I didn't even notice this. The pumpkin nose right there, that is patchy as fuck. The line work seems to have thickened up a wee bit. Yeah, just a tad, it's thickened up in comparison. We have some loss of ink here as well. The greeny aqua colour seems to have stayed pretty well, to be honest with you. The red has definitely lost some saturation and vibrancy there. So again, this is one of those tattoos that with a touch up, it would be fine again. You know, it does just need a little TLC. I probably should book in a session with an artist and be like, hey, can you just give some of my older tattoos some love? Because I think with a bit of TLC, it would look okay again. You know, like the foundations are still there, it just needs some oomph back in it, you know. Lipstick, this is from 2014. There is definitely a filter on here. It was taken with a flash as well. I got this just because I absolutely love lipstick. That's pretty much it. I thought it would be such a cute idea to have a lipstick tattoo to sort of commemorate my love for lipstick. I buy so much lipstick, it's ridiculous. Again, there is a filter, but when it was fresh, it was quite saturated and bold. This is what it looks like now. Okay, so it's 8 years old. There is quite a loss of, you know, line work, especially here. Like, that has just completely disappeared. Luckily, the yellow and this like pinky red has stayed, and the green, that has stayed pretty vibrant. Let's do the comparison there. For the most part, it's actually stayed up pretty well. You know, like it just, again, needs a little bit of TLC. We've lost some line work there. We've lost line work in the flower there. And then again there, like I said. Other than that, this is probably one of the better heeled traditional tattoos I have from like many years ago. I still love this so much. So again, like I was saying, if I was to book a session with a tattoo artist and have a full TLC session and make things look better, it would be fine because the foundations are still there. It's not like a completely screwed up, messed up tattoo or anything like that. Okay, the next one is a boot from Wall-E. It's a Disney film. It's my favourite Disney Pixar film of all time. It just gives me such wholesome, comforting vibes, even though not much is said throughout the whole film. But it's kind of like a tattoo as well to represent that, you know, through a lot of bad things, there will eventually be something good to happen, you know? If you watch the film, you know what I'm on about. I wasn't sure when I got this. It's either 2014 or 2015. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. It's around about that era anyway. And with this photo, I think there is, you know, a vignette on it or something. I don't think it's completely filtered. Again, I think I might have taken it in a dark room with a flash. That gives it that sort of dynamic look, if that makes any sense. But we get the gist. This is what it looks like now. This struggled, especially with the colour, because it was a very nice brown colour. You know, like it's quite a tan colour, but that has like completely disappeared here. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's like the brown just went, no, not today, honey. You know, like it just didn't want to take part in this whatsoever. As you can see, the line work for the plant there, it's completely sort of like bled out, got thicker, expanded, whatever you want to call it. But we lost quite a bit of the green color in this region here, just because that line work has expanded, so it's made everything a little bit muddy and we've lost a lot of the green. There's a bit of green there, you know, like we'll hold on to that. We have lost a lot of the definition here in the laces there. This is what happens when you get line work far too close to each other, and then as it ages it just, you know, again expands and what have you, so you lose a lot of detail. But I think with a rework it could be fixed, maybe. But yeah, it definitely needs some TLC. I didn't realise how much the colour of this tattoo changed until I saw the comparison photos. I was like, damn! You see your tattoos every single day. You do not notice the change until you look back at photos. You're just like, wait, what? It used to look like that? And it looks like this now? It's wild. It's honestly, I highly encourage you to take photos of your tattoos when they're fresh. And then, you know, you've got that there to look back on and see the changes over the years. The next one we have here is my Craft tattoo. It's, you know, an array of things from the film The Craft, which is a thriller horror film kind of thing. Like, think Mean Girls, but with witches, right? It's one of my absolute favourites. I could watch it over and over and over and over and over again. I have watched it over and over and over again. It was probably one of the first horror films I ever saw. I wouldn't really call it a horror film now in comparison to like what horror films are now. But yeah, I think The Craft, The Blair Witch Project, Scream, those were the first sort of horror films that I ever watched. But yeah, we have the famous quote that says, "We are the weirdos, mister." It's in a heart and we've got these like drippy black bits. We've got a candle there, a spell book, a moon, and then some of this dot work glitter with this lightning. Now, Keely, who did this is a screenshot from her Instagram. It's now Keely Glitters, but this was when she was Keely Rutherford on Instagram. But Keely is one of the first, I want to say she was like one of the first artists to ever do glitter tattoos. There's an array of artists that do it now, but I want to say she was like maybe one of the first to do it. I don't know. I could be wrong, but this is obviously from 2016. I started admiring her work. Well, I think I come across her on Instagram in like 2015, I think it was, and she was doing glittery, sparkly tattoos then. But it's just like loads of dot work. There's like black, grey and then white to give it that sort of sparkle effect there. So in my opinion, this is held up pretty well. There's obviously a lot of changes, but it's still like this, I would say, is probably one of my older tattoos that is decent. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's 6 years old, which isn't, you know, that old, but line work has got pretty thick there, to be honest with you, but in my opinion it's still readable. The lines throughout the script there has faded significantly, but you can still somewhat see them, but yeah, they've definitely faded quite a bit. The drips have definitely got a lot thicker and they're not as defined. The line through the mister seems to have withheld quite a bit there in comparison to up here. The same here for the candle, like basically the line work has just got thick for all of it. Also, you'll notice with the dot work here, so the glittery, sparkly effect, those dots have got incredibly thicker, which is what is going to happen. So, you know, like I was saying, there's a lot of artists now that specialise in this glittery effect tattoos. Yeah, those dots aren't going to stay like that. They look amazing now, and I still put my hands up. I would definitely get one. Especially like the super colourful ones. But those dots aren't going to stay that small. I just don't know how they would heal. You're pretty much looking at a healed one right here. The white ink in the lightning seems to have just gone. I can't really see it at all. Maybe there's a little bit down there. That seems to have stuck. But the thing is, I'm so pale. You know, like I think when I have fake tan on, you can somewhat see it, but overall though, it's still legible. You can still read it, which is pretty much the aim of the game when you get tattooed. As long as you can still figure out what the hell is going on, that's great in my opinion. I still love this tattoo so freaking much. It's still one of my favourites, and one of those tattoos that I'm super proud of because, like I was saying, I discovered Keely back in like 2014, 2015. and she's one of those artists. Actually, she was the first artist I discovered through Instagram that I got tattooed by. This was when I started taking my content creating a bit more seriously. I actually vlogged this whole day when I got this tattoo. I was super excited. So yeah, this tattoo has like more meaning to me, you know, like this was the beginning of me becoming a tattoo collector, getting tattooed by different artists and all of that. So yeah, that is some of my tattoos from fresh to healed. I obviously have a lot more, but that was kind of like a variation of some of my older ones that I have pictures of, and I've learned some things and I've realised I just need to start getting touch-ups or reworks. But I'm just so lazy. I much prefer to get a new tattoo over fixing the ones that I have. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this video, and if you'd like to see some more in the future. And yeah, that's it for this video, and until my next one, bye.